Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. Today, we're going to talk about a few lessons learned from building AI in digital health. This is a field that's kind of new for everybody, and we've been down the path a little bit. We started our AI journey almost a year ago now. And so I thought I'd share some of the lessons that we've learned on our approach to building digital health. We're using AI in both an internal setting to make our people more efficient, but also we're building AI into our products and delivering that same efficiency to our customers. So we have a little bit of lessons learned from both of those approaches that we've taken. The first lesson that we learned is that it's really about the culture. And the quote we have here is from a white paper that we've put together, and it's got some good insights in it. You can scan the QR code. This will come up a few times during the presentation. So if you miss it this time, you can catch it next time. But one of the most important things about AI that we found is that it's a big shift for everybody. It's going to change organizations. It's going to change power structures in organizations. And it's important to maintain a sense of order during all this change without letting the order prevent the change. And so really the best thing you can do on your AI journey is to start with the right frame of reference. What you don't want to do is focus on AI taking effort out of the equation. That's what a bad manager will say. A bad manager will go in and say, AI is going to make us so efficient. And what the workforce is going to hear is, we're taking away your jobs, or we're going to reduce your role. And that's not good for anybody. But there's a positive way to frame it, which is to talk about all the things you'll be able to do with AI that you can't do without AI. If your company is like ours, you've got a lot of people who are walking around with a great idea that just has never been important enough to get on the project list, and they're unhappy that they could be doing more for their customers or for the organization, and there just isn't budget to fund those projects. And what AI lets you do is work farther down your priority list. So instead of cutting it off after the top 5 projects or the top 10 projects, you can work further down into the list. And that's where you can get people excited. You can let them know that AI is a force multiplier. It's a way to extend the capacity of an organization. And therefore, you can take on more projects that you could not have taken on before. So that's the right way to frame it. Because this is a presentation about lessons learned, I thought I should talk about the way we specifically did it at Rhapsody. And these are the 5 phases that we took. We've rolled out AI tools for all of our employees. And the tool that you have depends on the role that you have. So it's not just one tool. But the important thing is we started at the top. We were able to align our board of directors and our executive team around the idea that we wanted to adopt AI into the company and into the culture. And that's absolutely important, because if you try to start AI from the bottom up, you'll get to a certain point, but you can't make it pervasive throughout the company. So you really need to start at the top, get alignment with the board and executives, and from there you can manage it like any other type of organizational transformation. For example, we have an existing OKR framework that we use to make changes within our company. And so we just made some OKRs around adopting artificial intelligence. And this gives you a way to maintain that duality between change and order, right? We have the orderliness of the OKR process, which is driving the change that we're trying to make. From there, we did an evaluation process to select the tools. We procured the tools. Importantly, we trained everybody on the tools, which was difficult, right? Because nobody's an expert in this stuff yet. We were making experts as we went along. In a lot of cases, the expert was someone who had a few weeks more experience than the people they were training. So that's the challenge that we faced, was how do you roll out training when you have so few experts? But then the other things we did to embed AI in the culture were to start evaluating people based on their use of AI. When that's part of your annual review, when it's part of the hiring process to find out a candidate's appetite for AI, that does a lot to embed the concept in the culture. So that was lesson 1. Lesson 2 is about the data. What we found is that data drives everything in AI. Here's the QR code again. There's one more at the very end, so you'll have one more chance. In about 2012, the discipline of data science came out, and it transformed the way we build software. Prior to that, I'm calling it 20th century software. We would decide what business process we wanted to automate, and we'd write an algorithm and embed that in a program, and then feed data into that program. And then the data would churn through the program, and you would get some output on the other end. And if you put in bad data, you got bad output. We used to say garbage in, garbage out. But data science changed that substantially, and now you're lucky if it's garbage in, garbage out. If you put garbage into a data science algorithm, you'll get a catastrophe out. Because it inverts the way that software is built. Instead of building an algorithm and feeding data in, we've already got the algorithms. There's about a dozen or 24 data science algorithms that are all the same, and they're only different by the parameters that you feed into them. And the process of tuning those parameters to get the output you want is called training, and you train it on data. So you have to have good quality data to go into your model in order to train it to give the output that you want. So that's why data is so important. This means that the data has to be, consistent, high quality. You have to make sure that it represents exactly what you want in the algorithm. If you do that, then you're going to get good results. And it's a highly efficient way to build software. If you don't do that, you're going to get bad results. And practically speaking, this is one thing that we did at Rhapsody. We have a product called Identity that manages patient identities. And one of the features of the identity product is to be able to match 2 records and determine if these represent the same person or different people. And so we have a 20th century algorithm. Some of the guys who wrote the 20th century algorithm are at the back there. So if you want to wave. We've refined this algorithm over years and years, so it gives really accurate results. If you have 2 records that represent people, it can pretty accurately tell if they're the same or different people. But no matter how accurate it is, there's always some gray area in between where the algorithm just can't tell. And so what we do is put it in a work queue, and a human will look at it and exercise their human judgment to determine, is this the same person or different people? And then they'll take action appropriately. What we were able to do is use the decisions of those human data stewards as data points, and we put that data into a data science algorithm, and we were able to generate a model that we call Autopilot. And its job is to help resolve some of those gray area cases so that humans don't have to. It still can't get all of them. There's still some that are just impossible for a computer to work out, and a human has to take over. But it reduces the total number that a human has to take care of, so it saves a lot of time. It works 24/7. It's repeatable and accurate, so it's a big time saver. And this impacts the concept of data in 2 ways. One way is we had to have good data to put into our algorithm to train it. So we had to seek out really good data in the first place. But also the output of our algorithm is our customers' data. It's data that our customers are going to use. It's identity data about their patients or their members. And so the data that comes out of there is also the data that has to be highly accurate and reliable. So that's what we found, is that data is very important, and because it's so important, it has a political aspect to it. Everyone in the organization has a stake in making sure that the data is right, and they have consequences if the data is wrong, and so they're very careful to pay attention to that data. So you get to a point where you can ask the question, is there a difference between good data and good AI? And for me, the answer is the same. Is there a difference between Bruce Wayne and Batman? Yes, there's a difference, but in a way, there's also kind of not a difference. They're 2 sides of the same coin. Lesson 3 is about agility. We've been talking about agile development for many years, but what we found with AI is that it's the only way to proceed. I found this quote that I thought was clever. We're at a point in time right now where it's better to get a speeding ticket than a parking ticket. You need to be doing something. You need to be moving as fast as possible. And if you can't, then you could be left behind. Benedict Evans publishes a paper, a slide presentation every year, and this is one of the slides from his presentation where he shows the different platform changes that we've been through. And his point is that every time a platform comes out, like when web comes out to replace PCs, it's not as good as the previous platform, but it's different and better in a specific way, and that way lets it grow quickly until it reaches a plateau and levels off, and the next platform comes along. So the question is that he poses in his slide deck, is AI just another platform change, and will it level out? Or is there something different about it where it's going to take off and grow exponentially? And I don't know the answer to this. Everyone probably has their own opinion. I have an opinion. I don't have an answer. But AI is interesting in the fact that it can contribute to the next generation of AI. Like when the web was replacing PCs, there was no website that could make another website. But now that we have AI that can write code, and it can generate the next generation of AI. And so it's on a virtuous cycle where it's got a feedback loop that could put it on that more vertical path. So with things moving as quickly as that, your organization has to move equally quickly. You can't wait and see. You can't figure out where things are going and try to meet it when it gets there. You have to be working on it right now. And so what we did was we embedded a chatbot feature into our integration engine, and this was back over last summer, so around April or May, actually almost a year ago. We didn't have any experts internally, so we used some external consultants to help us build a prototype, and we showed it off at our user group in June. And it was good enough to make a compelling demo, but we needed to refine it. As we started to get more familiarity and expertise, we eventually ended up in a place where we decided to sort of throw away the prototype and re-platform it in AWS and take advantage of some newer tools. And so we did that pivot, and since then we've been able to iterate much more quickly. And part of that is because we have a bigger team, which I'll talk about in a minute, but also part of it is just we have better tooling, better frameworks, and we're in a better place so that we can move fast. So we spent some time putting the pieces in place to be able to do an agile approach, and that's really paying off with the rate that we're able to move right now. And then the next lesson is really about the team. It's a good time to invest in experts because amateurs can make a big mess. It's easy to be an amateur in AI. Probably all of us are. But when you're putting features into your software, you need a much higher level of expertise. And it's a difficult time. Experts in AI right now are rather rare. It's hard to find them. When you can find them, they can be expensive to hire. And there's not a lot of them out there. So right now, demand is exceeding supply. And when demand exceeds supply, you get a lot of fake experts out there. You get a lot of people who will put AI expert on their resume, even if they only have minimal experience. So you have to verify that the experts are what they say. And that's difficult because as a non-expert, you have to design an interview that helps you identify if this AI expert is legitimate or not. But the good thing about bringing in an expert is that they can serve as sort of the seed crystal to grow an organization. You can use that expert to train other people and share their knowledge to build frameworks and foundations so that there's a place to work and move quickly. So the investment in experts is really important, which is exactly what we did. We committed to building a data science and AI team. We opened up some new positions, and we were able to make those hires. And we've used them to sort of be the the pilot group to help the rest of the organization, the rest of the R&D organization, move into an AI mode, which prior to having the AI experts, so back when we were doing that prototype in June, we just had our usual R&D team building that. And you can set up the tools to build an AI solution. There's cookbooks out there that help you get something off the ground. But what the cookbooks can't do is take you to a place where it's highly optimized for your exact use case. And so you end up sort of stuck with a mediocre solution until you get those experts in who can break you through to the next plateau. So now we have a new challenge, which is that we have some AI experts on the team, but they're new to the company. In some cases, they're new to the industry. They don't understand our products or our organization or our industry or our customers. And at the same time, we have non-experts who have been around a long time. They do understand our products and our customers, but they don't understand AI. So the two groups, you can see it happening, are learning from each other, and they're leveling each other up. And so right now, it's still a little bit of a learning curve, but they are moving fast because they're working on a specific detailed project that requires both sides to know the other side. So that's been actually pretty awesome to watch. And then the last lesson really isn't a lesson at all. It's just an observation that it's a pretty exciting time. Where I'm going with this slide is to say that there's going to be winners and losers in AI. There's already winners and losers. You probably know about the winners like Anthropic and OpenAI, whose valuations are going up every time they raise more money. There's also losers. This is a stock graph of a company that matches up students with online tutors. And you can see that every time a new AI model, a new LLM model came out, their stock price dropped. If you can't read the numbers, the highest price on that graph is $100 a share, and the lowest price is 56 cents. So that's what can happen to a company that's automating human effort through humans and not taking advantage of AI. So where I'd like to leave you is with this message that we don't get to decide if we adopt AI. That's happening. That's what the Benedict Evans graph was showing, is it's the next platform. It's inevitable. It's coming. It's already here. But if we can't decide whether we adopt it, we can decide when and how we adopt it. And I think the lesson that we've learned is that the time is now, and the methods are really whatever gets you the fastest progress as fast as you can. You have to be agile. You have to rely on experts. But most of all, it has to be a cultural change first and a technology change second. So I'll stop there. We have time for one question if somebody wants to approach the microphone. If not, we can conclude it there. Thank you.